Hi, and welcome to the channel. In this video today, we are talking about shift worker syndrome. So, this is a video essentially on sleep and its relationship with you. So, going more into it, talking about shift worker syndrome. This may be a new condition, perhaps, that you are hearing about for the first time, or you may have heard about it. But I guarantee that once I start describing it, you will know if you fall into the term. So I'm talking about why it's so important and essential on a microscopic level. So an overview of shift worker syndrome. You may have guessed that it has a lot to do with sleep. I'm going to list some pretty damning facts about it as well. So let's get into the video. This will be a good one. So let's get right into it. What is shift worker syndrome? So shift worker syndrome, as you may have guessed already, it's those who work atypical hours. And those who work atypical hours have an increased risk for a lot of things that you may also guess, but things like obesity, diabetes, heart attacks, low serotonin, job related injuries. So, really, some of these big impacts on health can be as a result of shift work. So, what are the atypical hours that we're talking about here? Those who are at risk. So, mainly night shift, right? So, 4 p.m. to midnight, midnight to morning shifts. Now, it's so absurd that in 2007, the WHO classified night shift work as a probable carcinogen due to circadian rhythm disruptions. We'll make another video on circadian rhythm because there's a lot to talk about there. But this just shows you the impact of what night shift work can do to the body and to the organism when it should naturally be sleeping, but it's actually awake doing things. Other facts about it. So, as you can see here, there's big impacts on cardiovascular health and cancer as a whole as well. Now, as you may have guessed it, this is really bad. So it's really dramatic on our bodies. So I'm going to split this up into deprivation, isolation, and disorder. So that's how we're going to categorize what it actually does to our bodies. So in terms of disorder, we'll start off with that 50 to 70 million US adults have a sleep disorder. So out of a population of 300 million, that's quite a bit. There's many different kinds of sleep disorders, so we'll make other videos on that, but almost 50% of them report snoring, almost 40% report unintentionally falling asleep during the day, almost 5% report nodding off or falling asleep while driving even, at least once in the past month. So you may find that there's a lot of overlap with other disorders like sleep apnea, which we'll make future videos on. But these are just some quite evident statistics jumping out at us right away, and more so 25 million U.S. adults are struggling as well. They're struggling with OSA, which is sleep apnea, which is what I just mentioned. Drowsy driving is responsible for 1,500 fatalities and about 40,000 non-fatal injuries annually. So every year in the United States, for example. So it's a huge problem. People not getting enough sleep. Insomnia is the most common specific sleep disorder. I made another video on that. You can check it out. Insomnia, with short-term issues reported by about 30% of adults and chronic insomnia by about 10%. So insomnia plays a huge role, and sleep overall plays a huge role. It's really evident when it starts to impact driving and causing accidents as well. There just isn't enough sleep. So almost 40% of adults report less than 7 hours of sleep in a typical 24-hour period, whereas adults should be getting anywhere between 7 and 8 hours. And then when it comes to the medicine side of things, so to the healthcare profession, so 100,000 deaths occur each year in the U.S. In hospitals due to medical errors, and sleep deprivation has been shown to make a significant contribution to this. So think about that: people not getting enough sleep and just really struggling and starting to make mistakes. A lack of sleep increases sensitivity in the regions of the brain that signify a human approach. So you start to change in a way. Sleep deprivation can also lead to impairments in the part of the brain that understands another human's intentions. So you become isolated, lonely, alterations in mood and behavior, increased anxiety, social avoidance, isolation, and loneliness. So these consequences are notable even in moderate sleep disturbances or decrease in sleep quality. So huge impact here with sleep. This is probably the most evident. So why is sleep important? We all need sleep to function. Sleep is helpful for our health in general, keeps us healthy, helps us age gracefully, improves our memory, improves our creativity, maintains our energy, keeps our emotions level-headed, helps with metabolism, huge role in healing and recovery. It also helps with pain, right? So the more rested you are, the less pain you have. But how do these things actually happen? So what actually happens on a deeper level? Why is sleep actually needed for our bodies to function? I'm talking about zooming in really. So sleep helps regulate a lot of things really. It helps regulate our blood pressure. It restores our neurons. It regulates our hormones. It repairs our damage and muscles as well. It regulates our sugar levels. It helps with immune regulation. It has anti inflammatory properties. So, if we didn't need sleep, we wouldn't sleep. But we clearly need it. And we should not look at it negatively or like a waste of time, like we do in modern society, where it's always on the go, always hustle and bustle, have to do work, sleep as little as possible, but rather as something essential and foundational, really. Why we sleep. So it's not just for fun or for some other reason. If we don't sleep, bad things simply happen to us, as is evident by the shift worker syndrome. So a lot of the common things that you can see in everyday life, right? So diabetes, obesity, things like that. Sleep is a contributor to those things because of all these things that we mentioned, right? So it has blood sugar regulation, detoxification, hormone regulation, restores our neurons. All these things are happening at a cellular level to really help our bodies maintain some sort of normality. Sleep is a foundation and a cornerstone and one of the pillars of a healthy life. So we've established what sleep does, how it can negatively impact us if we don't get enough of it. So what are the actual sleep requirements for all of us? How much sleep do we actually need? It can vary, right, from being a baby and an infant all the way to being an old person, an adult. So adults, 7 to 9 hours of sleep. That's typically the range we aim for. Teenagers, 8 to 10 hours. Children, 6 to 12 years old, 9 to 12 hours. If we're talking about younger children, 3 to 5, it's 10 to 13 hours. Child 1 to 2 years, 11 to 14 hours. This includes naps, by the way, for the children. And infants, 4 to 12 months, they need 12 to 16 hours of sleep. So that's basically where we're at in terms of how much sleep we actually need. Um, we've highlighted why it's important. We've highlighted a syndrome of why it's bad and what happens when we don't get enough sleep. So please, let's all go get some sleep. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. Leave a comment in the section below, and we'll see you in the next one.